Oh, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for coming late. I'm just coming from office. So we started the emerging issue in public sector in the Nigeria public sector last week. So out of the emerging issue, we mentioned that one of the emerging issue is treasury single account. We mentioned another one called automated accounting transaction recording and reporting system. There is another emerging issue that we mentioned, integrated personnel and payroll information system. Why the next one is called government integrated financial management system. And we have university transparency and accountability solutions. We also have another one called open treasury portal. So we have started discussing issue in the Nigeria public sector last week. So where do we stop? Which area do we stop? Where do we stop? From the emerging issue, where do we stop? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I think we stop at university transparency and accountability solution.
This person is calling. So we stop at hello. Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Which of the emerging issue do we discuss last? I think we stop at integrated personnel and payroll information system. That is where we stop. IPPIS. That is where we stop. We have discussed treasury single account. We have discussed automated accounting transaction and recording and reporting system. We have also discussed integrated personnel and payroll information system. So where we are going to start today, government integrated financial management system. I think that is where we are starting. We have finished IPPIS. So let's look at GIFMIS, government integrated financial management system. What do we understand by government integrated financial management system? Government integrated financial management system is a subcomponent of the economic reform and governance project. It supports public resources management. This government integrated financial management system is an IT-based system for budget management and accounting It is an IT-based system for budget management and what? And accounting. It's implemented by federal government of Nigeria to improve public expenditure management process and enhance greater transparency and accountability across ministries and agencies. So, government integrated financial management information system is an IT-based system. They use it to manage government budgets. They use it to manage government expenditures. So, what is the objective of government integrated financial management information system? What are the objectives? Number one objective is to undertake control and monitoring of expenditures and receipts in the NDA. To undertake controls and monitoring of expenditures and receipts in where? In the NDA. To access information on financial and operational performance. To access information on financial and operational performance. Another one, to improve, to prevent or detect potential and actual fraud. To implement an internal control that will prevent and detect potential and actual fraud. Another one, to improve ability to access information on government
Mommy,
cash,
off your phone. Mommy, off your phone. Are you not sleeping?
on government cash position and economic performance. Please try to mute your audio. Another objective of GIFMIS is to improve medium-term planning through medium-term expenditure framework. To improve medium-term planning through medium-term expenditure framework. Another objective of GIFMIS is to demonstrate ability, to demonstrate accountability and transparency to the public and cooperating partner. The ability to demonstrate accountability and transparency to the public and cooperating partners. What are the benefits of GIFMIS? What are the benefits of GIFMIS? We have looked at the objective of GIFMIS. What are the benefits? Number one benefit of GIFMIS is it improves ability. It increased the ability of the federal government to undertake control, to undertake central control and monitoring of expenditure and receipts in the NDA. Number one benefit is it improves the ability of the federal government of Nigeria to undertake control and monitoring of expenditures and receipts in the NDA. Another one, to enhance the ability to access, it enhances the ability to access information on financial and operational performance. This is another benefit of GIFMIS. So these are all the benefits GIFMS also reduce incidents of money laundering. GIFMS also reduce incident of theft, fraud, and robbery. GIFMS abolish the use of check because it's an IT devices. We have to pay through the mobile banking. Now, what are the scope of GIFMS? What are the scope of GIFMS? What GIFMS cover? One of the scope of GIFMS is that GIFMS, GIFMS covers all aspects of budget preparation. So one of the scope of GIFMS is budget preparation. Another scope of GIFMS is government expenditure, all spending units. Number one scope of GIFMS has to do with budget management. Budget management entails budget preparation, budget execution, management of budget, budget controls. That is number one scope of GIFMS. While number two scope have to do with government expenditures. Another scope of GIFMS have to do with financial management. Financial management. That is another scope of GIFMS. There is another scope that covered financial management. While another scope covered procurement management. Another scope of GIFMS has to do with asset management. Another scope has to do with inventory and stock control. We have a scope of GIFMS that have to do with loan and advances. So these are all the scope covered by GIFMS. Now, what are the interface of GIFMS with third parties? If you want to make use of GIFMS, how does GIFMS interact with third parties? Those who are not government official. Those who are, how does GIFMS interact with third party to enable government transaction? One of the interaction of GIFMS with third party has to do with human management, which is payroll management. GIFMS is used to prepare payroll costs. There is an aspect of GIFMS that has to do with revenue. That one has to talk with Nigeria Customs Service revenue. While another scope have to do with taxation, which is Federal Inland Revenue tax. Part of the scope of interface of GIFMS. Another interface of GIFMS has to do with debt management. Let me repeat again. How does GIFMS interact with third parties? How do we use GIFMS in government to interact with third parties? What that is called interface with third parties. We call it interface with third party. How do we use GIFMS to interact with third parties? Number one aspect under the interface of GIFMS has to deal with payroll management, which is payroll costs. While number two interface has to deal with custom revenue, Nigeria Customs Service revenue. We have another interface that deal with taxation, which is Federal Inland Revenue taxation. Why we have another interface that deal with debt management. Debt management is another interface. And there is one interface that interacts with central bank that is used to capture government bank statement. So that one is bank statement in banking interface. This banking interface is used to capture, to print government bank statements. So this is what GIFMIS entail. So what are the problems of GIFMIS? What problems do we encounter from the use of GIFMIS? Sometimes GIFMIS integration is very weak. How do we integrate from the old system to GIFMIS? That integration process is very weak. How we input data. When you input wrong data, GIFMIS cannot decode whether the data is wrong, is right or wrong. So it's one of the challenges of GIFMIS. Another challenges of GIFMIS is high level of cyber security risk, cyber crime risk. There may be threats from the hacker, from the cyber, there may be a virus threat and so on like that. So all these are the challenges of GIFMIS and the emerging issues. Change management too is one of the challenges of GIFMIS. When we are doing changes, how do we manage the change? Change management is one of the challenges of GIFMIS. So now let's look at another emerging issues in Nigeria public sector. We have done with GIFMIS. Another emerging issue in Nigeria public sector is called University Transparency Accountability Solution, UTAS. University Transparency Accountability Solution. This University Transparency Accountability Solution is an IT software designed by ASU. They want to use this as an alternative to who? To which software? Is an alternative to integrated personnel payroll information system. When federal government launched integrated personnel payroll information system for payment of salary, ASU went on strike that they don't want university to be under IPPIS, that they prefer to have their own payroll management system, that they will design their own, because university system is different from any other department of government, any other ministry of government. They believe that there is a lot of a specialty in university system that require them to have their own payroll management system. So they went on strike. Federal government has to force them to be under IPPIS. But since the continue of the strike, they are still agitating for, we don't want to be under IPPIS. Federal government now grant the approval. By granting the approval, they design a software that is called University Transparency Accountability Solution. It is used in replacement of IPPIS. What are the reasons or objective why we have UTAS? Why do we have UTAS? What are the reasons or objective why we have UTAS? ASU condemn IPPIS that it will undermine university autonomy. ASU don't want all their salaries and other allowances to be prepared from the head of civil service in the Abuja. They want university to be preparing their salary by themselves. So they believe that IPPIS will undermine the autonomy of universities. That is the reason why they recommend UTAS. Inadequate capturing of university-specific allowance. They believe that IPPIS does not capture some specific allowance like sabbatical leave allowance, like inaugural allowance, like so many allowance paid to the academic staff. IPPIS don't capture them. So as a result of that, they have to introduce UTAS. Security concern. ASU believe that their data may be compromised, their personnel record, their personal information may be compromised, is going to be hacked if they are still using IPPIS. They believe that the one that they have, which is UTAS, will have some level of data privacy. Another reason why we introduce UTAS is ASU argue that this IPPIS is inflexible and unable to accommodate dynamic nature of university staffing and payroll system. They believe that UTAS is inflexible and is unable to accommodate dynamic nature of universities. So this is the reason why ASU introduce UTAS. What are the emerging issues in this UTAS? Adoption and resistance. Some universities resist centralized control over admission, payroll, and revenue management. That is the reason why we introduce UTAS. They believe that it is not NUC that will be telling them what to do. It is not JAM that will be dictating from them on admission process. Revenue leakage. They believe that using IPPIS can lead to revenue leakage and multiple bank accounts. So, autonomy concern. They believe that if they did not use UTAS, there will not be autonomy of university public finances. So what are the recommendations for improvement of UTAS? How do we make recommendation for improvement of UTAS? We should have, university should sign an MOU. An MOU should be signed by the university and the government on this adoption of UTAS. There should be standardized revenue collection channel. There should be standardized revenue collection channel. Continuous training and stakeholder engagement too is very important in the use of UTAS. Continuous training and stakeholder engagement is very important in the use of UTAS. Regular independent audit. The UTAS should be audited regularly, and public dashboard of university financial to boost accountability. So this is what we need to know on UTAS. Another one we have is called, another emerging issue that we want to discuss. That one is called Open Treasury Portal, OTP. Open Treasury Portal, OTP. OTP is an online platform designed or developed by federal government under the Office of Accountant General of the Federation. An online platform developed by the Office of Accountant General of the Federation. This Open Treasury Portal was launched in 2019. So it is a complement to GIFMIS. It ensures that there is accountability and transparency of public financial resources. So it is used to complement the job of GIFMIS. This OTP saying that if federal government want to make any payment of 10 million and above, they must publish all the payments. Why NDA, ministry and department, anytime they want to make payment of above 5 million, that 5 million must be published. This OTP, Open Treasury Portal, improve transparency, accountability in the management of public finances. What are the content of OTP, Open Treasury Portal? The name of the MDA must be stated. The name of the beneficiary must be stated. While the purpose and the amount involved must also be stated as part of content of OTP. Now, what are the key features of OTP? What are the key features of OTP? What are the key features of OTP? One of the key features of OTP is transparency in public finance. OTP has transparency in public finance. That means, why do we say it has transparency? If they want to make any payment above 5 million naira, that payment must be published and sent to the accountant general. Access to budget and expenditures data is also one of the features of OTP. Access to budget. The expenditure is going to be breakdown and published in real time. Public participation. The public can manage through the OTP. The public can monitor the government expenditure, how government spend money, because those expenditures are published on a daily basis. Public can manage it. Compliance with fiscal law. OTP complies with Procurement Act 2007, Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. It also supports open government partnership. Another features of OTP is auditing and anti-corruption tools. OTP make auditing of government resources to be easy, and it serves as a supporting tool to anti-corruption agencies like EFCC, ICP, Auditor General. So, what are the benefits of OTP? What benefit do we tend to derive from this OTP? What benefit are we going to derive? One of the benefits of OTP is OTP will ensure transparency policy. It will enable government to open its book to the public. So it gives more confidence to it gives more confidence. It increases the confidence of the public on government financial resources. The public, they have more confidence on the government. So this is one of the benefits of OTP. OTP also puts NDA on their toes, because it monitors NDA, since all their expenses must be published. Any expenses that is above 5 million, you must publish it. You must state what you want to use it for. Who do you want to pay? OTP monitor and sustain a peer review mechanism. OTP monitor and sustain a peer review mechanism. So this is on OTP. NTP. Now, the last one we want to look at this night is called National Chart of Account, NCOA. National Chart of Account, NCOA. What is this National Chart of Account, NCOA? National Chart of Accounts is a complete list of budget and accounting items where each item is uniquely represented by a code. It means National Chart of Accounts simply means the coding for government expenditure, the coding for government revenue. When you assign a code for each line item of revenue, you also assign a code for each line items of expenditure. That is called National Chart of Accounts. Objective of National Chart of Accounts. What is the objective of National Chart of Accounts? To provide an opportunity for comparability in government. To provide an opportunity for comparability in government. Another objective is to ensure unification and harmonization of coding, budget, and accounting and reporting system in government. To ensure unification and amortization of coding, budgeting, accounting, and it ensure that every government have a unique accounting package. The accounting package used by Ministry of Health should be the same with accounting package used by Ministry of Industry. There should be a unique coding system. Another objective is to bring about global interpretation of general purpose financial statements. To bring about global interpretation of general purpose financial statements. Another one, to improve transparency and accountability. Another objective of National Chart of Accounts is to improve transparency and accountability. While another objective is to facilitate ease of computerization of accounting system. To facilitate ease of computerization of accounting system. Now, what are the features of National Chart of Accounts? What are the features of National Chart of Accounts? National Chart of Accounts, when we want to design it, we engage a lot of stakeholders. That means one of the features is stakeholder involvement. National Chart of Accounts is flexible, expandable. It can be adjusted from time to time. Another features of National Chart of Accounts is that each item have a unique code. Each item have a unique code. This is one of the features of National Chart of Accounts. Another features of National Chart of Accounts is it ensures the use of budget and accounting. National Chart of Accounts comply with cash and accrual basis. National Chart of Accounts ensure IPSAS cash and accrual basis compliance. National Chart of Accounts ensure IPSAS cash and accrual basis compliance. This is another features of National Chart of Accounts. Government financial statistics compliance is also another features of National Chart of Accounts. Now, what are the structures of National Chart of Accounts? What are the structures of National Chart of Accounts? What are the structures of National Chart of Accounts? The structures of National Chart of Accounts is breakdown into different segments. The structures of National Chart of Accounts is breakdown into segment by segment. One of the segments is called administrative segments. One of the segments of the structures of National Chart of Accounts is called administrative segment. This administrative segment has to deal with revenue, whether this has to assign responsibility for each transaction, whether revenue center or payment center, whether revenue center or payment center. Administrative segment assign responsibility for each transaction, whether revenue center or payment center. We have another one called economic segment. Economic segments, what does economic segment do? Economic segment has to deal with segmentation of government activities into different source. Every receipt must be from a particular source. Every receipt, maybe the receipt is from tax, or the receipt is from custom, or the receipt is from mining, or the receipt is from loan. You understand? We have another one called functional segment. This one means we are classifying government activity into different functions of government, into different function. We have health, we have work, we have finance, we have transport, we have securities, and so on like that. Program segment. This one means we are classifying government activity into different programs engaged by government. Primary education program, poverty alleviation program, and we have food security program. So we are classifying activities into different programs engaged by government. We have another one, fund segment. This one, we are classifying activities into different pool of fund, into different what? Pool of fund. How do we get fund? Where do we get the fund? Is it from tax? Is it from INI? Is it from fines? You understand? So fund segment. We have geographic segment. We are classifying government activities based on different location, based on different geography, based on different areas. So that is geographic segments. So what are the advantages of National Chart of Account? What are the advantages of National Chart of Account? One of the advantages of National Chart of Account is the coding of items used for National Chart of Account comprises of coding of items that is used for classification and budgeting. So it has some coding items that can use to classify, and we can use for budget preparation. National Chart of Account also enhance attainment of minimum reporting requirements. National Chart of Account enhance the attainment of minimum reporting requirements. National Chart of Account, again, it ensure recording of all transactions and direct link to general purpose financial statement. Direct link to general purpose financial. So we are still on National Chart of Accounts. Now, what are the structure of? Under the National Chart of Account, we have structure of cash basis IPSAS. Under the National Chart of Account, we have structures of cash basis IPSAS. One of the structures of cash basis IPSAS is mandatory requirements. In cash basis IPSAS, there are some mandatory requirements in preparing government general purpose financial statement. On another structures of cash basis IPSAS is additional disclosures. Cash basis IPSAS have additional disclosure. So in cash basis IPSAS, these cash basis IPSAS don't recognize debtors and creditors. It does not recognize debtors and creditors. What are the content of cash basis IPSAS or component of cash basis IPSAS? Statement of consolidated revenue fund, statement of CRF is one of the component of cash basis IPSAS under general purpose financial statement. Another component of cash basis IPSAS is statement of asset and liability. Statement of asset and liability. We under the component, another component that we have under cash basis of IPSAS, statement of capital development. Statement of capital development. Statement of capital development. We have another one called cash flow statement. Cash flow statement. Cash flow statement is another component of cash basis IPSAS. Another component of cash basis IPSAS is note to the account. Note to the account. We have another one called performance report. Performance report. Performance report is also one of the components of cash basis IPSAS. We also have statistical report. Statistical report is also one of the components of cash basis IPSAS. We have another component called accounting policy. We have another component called accounting policy. These are the components of cash basis IPSAS. Statement of consolidated revenue fund, statement of capital development, statement of asset and liability, statement of cash flow, note to the account, performance report, statistical report, accounting policy, and all these, they are the mandatory requirements. Why the other disclosure is part of the components too. Accrual basis of IPSAS. This accrual basis of IPSAS, we use it to prepare government financial statement. But accrual basis recognize debtors and creditors. Revenue is recognized only. Revenue will be recognized when the transaction, when the service is provided, not when you paid, when you receive the money. When you render the service, you recognize revenue under accrual. Accrual recognize debtors and creditors. So accrual recognize debtors and creditors. What are the difference between accrual basis IPSAS and cash basis IPSAS? What are the difference between accrual basis IPSAS and cash basis IPSAS? Under the accrual basis IPSAS, under accrual basis IPSAS transaction and other effects, they are recognized when they are occur. But under the cash basis, they are recognized only when cash is received. Accrual basis IPSAS transaction is recognized when they occur. While under the cash basis, transaction is recognized only when cash is received or paid. Accrual basis IPSAS disclose information on tangible assets, account receivable and payable, but cash basis IPSAS does not disclose information on fixed assets, tangible assets, account receivable and payables. So this is one of the major difference. What are the components of Accrual basis IPSAS? What are the components of Accrual basis IPSAS? One of the components of Accrual basis IPSAS is statement of financial position. Statement of financial position is one of the components. Statement of financial performance is also another component of Accrual basis IPSAS. We have another one called statement of cash flow. It's also another component of Accrual basis IPSAS. We have another one called statement of changes in net assets. It's also another component of Accrual basis IPSAS. Statement of changes in net assets. Why note to the account is also another component of cash basis, Accrual basis IPSAS. Statement of accounting policy is also one of the components of Accrual basis IPSAS. Statement of accounting policy is one of the components of Accrual basis IPSAS. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is all we need to know on emerging issue in Nigeria public sector. But I will advise us, I have some questions in this topic. One of the questions is talking about what are the benefits of e-payments. We should identify 10 benefits of e-payment. What are the 2 transactions covered by e-payments? We should itemize the content of e-payment vouchers. Please, let's try to attend this question. Second question has to do with TSA. What are the benefits of TSA? What is TSA? Why the third question has to do with IPPIS? What is the, he's talking of what do we understand by, what is the full meaning of GIFMIS? What are the objectives of GIFMIS? So please, let's try to lay our hands on all these questions we mentioned. So they are very important questions, and there are some likely questions, especially the area of cash basis IPSAS, Accrual basis IPSAS, the area of TSA, e-payment, e-collection, and so on like that. So do we have any question? Do we have any question? So in the absence of no question, we can call it a day. By God's grace, we meet tomorrow morning.